Hello everybody, we have got your XING TIAN guide here today. XING TIAN is a guardian that mostly gets played in the support role right now. He used to get played a lot in solo, but that dropped off really heavily once the solo lane meta became basically all warriors again. So I'll be rocking him over in the duo lane. We're gonna get our Guardian's Blessing. I'm gonna get me a I'm gonna get tier 1 boots. I'm gonna get 4 health pots and a Hand of the Gods. We are against a Ganesh Scotty in lane. I've got a Neath. I'm just gonna get a good old-fashioned Shell to help us out over in the duo. XING TIAN has a lot of CC in his kit. He's not a major damage dealer, but he's probably right in the middle as far as Guardian supports go. At level 1, we are going to get our 1. This is going to be our main source of damage. This is going to do a damage in a line. It's going to do an initial tick of damage. And then there's also going to be a bleed component to this ability. So initial damage, plus you get a dot, which that dot is going to be a percentage of maximum health over that time. Gotta play this one quite far back. So you're gonna get a bunch of burst damage right at the start. And then you are going to get percentage HP. This is based off of maximum health, not current health, which means it's really, really good. Anything based off of maximum health is awesome. On top of that, it is also going to reduce the amount of basic attack damage that targets that get hit by a tank. So if like I use it on their hunter, then their hunter's basic attack damage is going to be reduced by 20% for 4 seconds. It's a very, very good ability against physical characters, specifically physical auto attackers. At level 2 here, I'm going to get my 3 just to be safe, because I thought something like this might happen. Our 3 is our jump. XING TIAN's jump is unique in the fact that you can use it twice in a row. So you jump one time. It's a pretty low distance jump. It's not super far. That is the balancing because you can use it twice. This does go over walls, like player-made walls and stuff. And because it's not a super long jump, you can't get over like a bunch of walls in the game, but there are some walls that you can hop over, but you can hop over all the player-made walls, like Thor and Ymir and all those guys with this ability. On top of that, it's going to do damage each time you jump. So when you jump the first time, it'll do damage, and when you jump the second time, so you can use it to double down on the damage. So technically, instead of 60 damage, it's actually 120. And you're also going to gain protections when you use this ability. So you gain 20 to 30 protections. This is protections that you have while basically in your jump. So you get bonus protections while you're like in the jump, just to help you be a little bit tankier. At level 3, we are going to grab our 2. This is going to be our most consistent CC ability. It has 2 parts to it. The first part is this little cone you see in front of you. That is going to do damage and knock up the opponent. And then we are going to slam back down as a circle. So up, and then we slam back down as a circle around us. The cone is the knock-up portion that does damage. The slam down will do damage once again, and it is going to be a root. So this is a combination root and knock-up ability. Just the other way around, knock-up then root. Gonna grab our Shoes of Focus here. You can get tank boots on XING TIAN if you'd like to. Some people like the tank boots. I like to go a little bit more aggressive with the CDR to get my CC abilities up more often, but there's nothing wrong with going tank boots if you so desire, just to help you out a little bit in the early game. For our passive on XING TIAN, it's actually a passive that kind of is worse now than it used to be because of the healing changes. But you gain stacks every time you hit an enemy with an ability, and for each stack you gain HP 5. So you gain 3 HP 5 per stack, and you can have up to 12 stacks. So you can see down the bottom for my UI bar. This is my little UI bar that is indicating that I've got all these stacks. Now I've got 12 stacks up in my character. So my HP 5, which you can see down on my health bar. You can always see your HP 5 and your NP 5 down on your bars. I've got 50 HP 5 right now, which just means that I am gaining 50 hit points per 5 seconds. That is your regen. And so this is just going to keep on keeping on. And I'm getting, it lasts for 18 seconds. And you can, of course, refresh it. You can see it right now on my bar. I've got 5 seconds left. If I would just like walk in and try to hit somebody with an ability, it would go ahead and refresh, hit the Scotty, so it is still going to be at those max stacks, increasing my HP 5. I know that Scotty's beads are down, and I really want to go in on this. I'm going to go for it. Grabbing the Scotty, he has no beads, and now you get to see the whirly twirly man himself. You put him in the washing machine. For XING TIAN's ulti, you start spinning around in a circle around your character. Anybody that ends up in your path is going to get grabbed first. They are going to take damage while they are in the range of this grab, and then you are going to throw them. So you got to proc this damage multiple times, and then you throw them. You can throw them into a wall. You can throw them toward your teammates. It's just going to depend on the situation. You are also C immune during this ability, so you cannot be interrupted out of it once it begins. If you know a target has their beads down, then they're pretty much a free kill for you. It's basically like a really long cooldown. Sobek pluck is how you should basically be thinking about it. I've got my Guardian's Blessing stacked, so now I'm going to start rotating out of the lane. Let my Neath start to solo farm immediately as the rest of their team comes over this way. I threw out a ward for him. I'm on my way towards mid. They're going to be sending a bunch of people there. I'm looking for the XING TIAN. Oh my goodness, huge Scylla play right there. Kind of just waiting for the Arachne to come down from her ulti, but we rotated over. She got too scared and not going to rotate out of that one. So once you get your Guardian's Blessing stacked over in the duo lane, that is typically when I would recommend that you start rotating. You can rotate a little bit earlier, but if you start rotating too early and you don't have your Guardian's Blessing stacked, you're basically going to be in a situation where you start falling behind in gold because you're not getting all of that wonderful bonus from the Guardian's Blessing being stacked. This usually ends up being around the like 5 to 6 minute marker, give or take, when you'll start getting that Guardian's Blessing stacked. On XING TIAN, we are going to rank up our 1 first. See if I can't root this guy. And then jump right out of the trouble. Ooh, he popped in Aegis. He didn't quite die. I'm going to ult for this Arachne. I'm going to throw it right into the wall. I know that he can't ulti out of that one. I got to pop a shell. I'm not going to be able to pop a shell because I got caught on the Ganesh ulti. For our first real item, we're going to be working ourselves into a Gauntlet of Thieves. Still one of the best, if not the best, support item in the entire game. So make sure that you're buying it. It's going to give you a bunch of HP protections and also going to give your team some protections as well. Back into our first ability. There is an argument to be made for leveling the second ability first because you get the increased root duration. For me, I think that the damage reduction on the one and the extra damage that you get are much more important. So for me, my max level order on the XING TIAN is 1, 2, 4, 3. So ranking up your ultimate, all it's going to do is increase the damage. But ranking up your 1 provides damage reduction, and ranking up your 2 provides the increased root duration. So I like to get 1 point on my ultimate and then rank up my 1 all the way to max, then my 2. Then I often come back and rank up the ultimate 3rd for the damage, and then finally getting my leap ranked up last. The reason why we rank up that leap last is because for the most part, we're going to use it to get in range of an initiation or just running away. Unless we're starting to get pretty big, we're not actually using it for the damage from the support roll. So we want to make sure we don't feel bad about using the ability because it's like our main source of damage. We're not like, oh no, I can't use it to get in range because I've got to use it once I'm there. So that final leveling order is 1, 2, 4, 3 for our XING TIAN. Speaking of going in, I know that Thoth does not have any beads, but I just can't get in range. Unfortunate. Well, Arachne's here. Unfortunately, my shell is just not going off, which is a bummer, so I guess I'm just not allowed to use it this game. Classic Smite. I did try really hard, though. Now, we got Ganesh hold down. We got Thoth hold down. Thoth basically walked out of the ulti. There is a pretty big build-up time on the whirlwind of Rage and Steal, your ultimate. So you gotta be a bit careful with that. You can see I tried to grab the Thoth, and I just barely wasn't able to get in the range of him. As far as your gameplay style, you are a Guardian support. So you are going to try and be peeling for your team. There's not usually too much in the way of peeling in the early stages of the game. Right now, it's kind of just walking around and trying to find quick picks to do an early goal theory and stuff. But as we transition into later stages of the game, it's going to be my job to go in for the initiation at the start. And then after I initiate, to go and peel back for my team. So I'm going to have to do kind of both of those jobs on XING TIAN. So typically how that's going to happen is I'm going to jump into a fight. I'm going to look to throw down my ultimate, specifically looking to either throw squishies back to my Scylla or to force a bunch of beads. After that is done, then have a shell, baby. After that is done, then I will go ahead. Speaking of throwing somebody into a wall, I'm going to throw him right into this Pyromancer. Try to body block him as much as I can so the Pyromancer can beat those cheeks. Gonna use my jump over here to Thoth. Second jump. You can kind of jump over abilities as well with the XING TIAN 3. If you're a little careful with it, you can try to time it to like jump over people's stuff. Also, you can see that you can jump over like little walls. So like this isn't obviously a big wall, but you can find ways to jump around walls with XING TIAN 3. You're just gonna have to go around the map and kind of see the types of places where you're gonna be able to make that jump. I'm gonna hold this mid wave for my Scylla. 1, because I want Guardian's Blessing stacks, and 2, because you want to get your mid laner as big as possible.
Your right tower is under attack.
Can't quite jump over that wall, but I can jump over this wall and then jump over that wall, and it's kind of like jumping over the big wall to begin with. Grab another point in our 2. For our third item, we're going to look at their team composition, see what they have. They've got 1 physical, 2 physical, 3 physicals, 2 magicals. One of those magicals is a Guardian. Gonna go ahead and throw a little knock-up onto Ganesh, who's playing aggressive once again. We gotta be careful. Try to back up together. AMA is coming in as well. That's some good poke right there. I gotta watch out for the Thoth. I don't have anything up to peel for him. I'm just gonna kind of stand here in front of him while I'm backing. I'll stay for the next wave too. I'm gonna group it up for Scylla. Got to be careful. Does he have Bancroft? He does. Okay. So now we're gonna look at their builds. They're all looking pretty squishy. Nobody getting super tanky yet. So I can probably get away with a little bit more of an aggressive item here in my third slot. So I'm going to be looking to go into a Pridvin. This is going to help build up our CDR. And I'll go from only having 10% CDR to 20%, plus that little shield at the end of our ultimate is going to be nice, because if we get that shield to pop, we are going to we're going to be throwing them out of position, and then after we throw them out of position, we are going to be able to slow them just with our Pridvin. For our second active, we grabbed ourselves a blink. On Guardians that are going to require ulti initiations, Sylvanas, Geb, XING TIAN, etc. These are all viable gods to get a blink on. Now, you can't necessarily grab that blink every single game, because sometimes you're going to need the sprint and the shell, which are the most common actives. But I looked at the enemy team. They don't have a creeping curse or anything. And so I am not obligated to go into that sprint. And so better for my team is going to be me being able to blink in and cause some problems and be in range of my initiation. That way I can save my jump for the most part and use it as a getaway skill. Our standard combination on XING TIAN is going to depend whether or not we have our ultimate up. If our ultimate is up, a lot of the times what we're going to do is we're simply going to blink and go for the ulti right away. Don't give them any time to react. If our ultimate is not up, or if we want to try and bait out a bead before our ultimate, what we do is we use our 2 like we just did. And now I'm going to ulti. I force the Arachne beads. I'm going to throw Ganesh right back to Scylla. And then we follow up with the 1 for our damage. So that is, we should be able just to go do Gold Fury, honestly. And so that's going to be ulti if you're blinking in and you want to get him right away. Or if you're wanting to go for the beads burning path, or even the ultimate CC immune path. Let's say they've got, who's a good example? Like Arachne. If I try to bait him out with the hook slam, I might be able to force his ulti or something without even using mine. So you'll go in with your ulti or your 2, and then you'll follow up simply with your 1, and then you can use your 3 to get away. Do be aware that if you're using your 2 aggressively, you're not going to have it up for the peel. So make sure you are really trying to get something baited out. Because if you go in and use your ulti, and you bait out a bunch of stuff, that's great, and then you can immediately jump back to your squishies and start peeling for them, because you're going to have the knock-up root combo. But if you use that aggressively and your ulti is down, then you're going to have nothing really to peel. Gonna rank up my shell to get those block stacks online, and we're going to finish our Pridven, bringing me into 30% CDR. And it's going to give us that fun little damage slash slowing explosion shield at the end of our ultimate. Grab the sentry ward so I can throw a ward over by the fire giant. As a support, it is your job to make sure you're warding objectives. You shouldn't be. That was a weird. What the? How many times am I gonna jump here, Smite? Classic Smite bugs. You want to make sure you're warding the objectives. It is not your job alone to be warding the objective. That is a Scotty beads down. So I'm going to pick them both up and just throw them into this wall. So it's nice and easy for Scylla to know what's happening. Walking into the backline again. I've done my initiation job. Now I'm just trying to keep people off my teammates. I'm going to jump over this AMA. Hit him with a little root knockup. Try to get in front of him so I can try to body block his dash as much as possible. Hit him with the 1 for the bleed. I'm going to just keep going this way for the body blocks. I'm just trying to stand right in front of him right now as much as I can. Use my abilities, and then I can jump back out. You should always keep in mind that you can use abilities while in your XING TIAN jump. So when I jump the first time, I don't have to just jump immediately again. One thing that I can do is I can jump in, I can use my hook slam, and then I can go ahead and jump the second time. So much like Nemesis, you do have a little bit of time in between your first jump and your second jump where you can jump in, throw down some abilities, and then jump out. There's an Arachne right behind me. Just trying to keep my eye on him, see if I can't reach him with his root combo. I am. And we forced the Arachne ultimate right there. Just by using our 2, didn't even have to ulti. Now that I know his ultimate is down, though, he becomes a much better ultimate target. I'm going to give myself a relic dagger This relic dagger is going to give me a little bit of HP. I've already got a solid amount of protections just from the Thebes and the Pridvin. So we're going to max out our CDR, and we're going to get our blinks up more often. Blink up more often with full CDR just means that I'm going to be able to initiate with my ultimate whenever my blink is up. It is going to be the limiting factor. So we want to do as much work as we can for that. I know that Arachne ultimate is out, and I know that Scotty beads are down, so I'm going to go for a big grab right here. Gonna throw the Scotty right back towards my Scylla. He does use his Aegis. I've got Shell up if we end up needing it, but we force a lot right there. Ganesh ult, Scotty Aegis, all sorts of things just got put down. Gotta once again get in front of this Ganesh. If there's somebody with a dash, do your best to get in front of them as a support and try to body block their way out. So that way somebody like an AMA or a Sheik or a Ganesh whose dash will get stuck on me, I can try to limit the amount that they can go. Now begins the patiently waiting game. I wouldn't worry about min-maxing your passive too much. A lot of people like to make sure they've always got that HP 5 going, so sometimes they'll like jump and get themselves into a bit of a mess just to keep those HP 5 procs going. This was a little bit more important before the most recent patch. You should know that HP 5 is reduced by anti-healing. It didn't used to be, but it is now. So stacking up a bunch of HP 5 on XING TIAN and going for like capped HP 5 at 100 is really not the play anymore. Because something like a Divine Ruin does flat out reduce that by 40%. A Brawler's is going to reduce it by another 40. So if you get general anti-heal on yourself, you are going to be losing all of your HP 5 as well. So the days of just absolutely stacking sustain on XING TIAN is over at this point. So you do want to go a more traditional protection-y CDR type build. So you get that up for your team and not necessarily go this giant HP 5 build. Stone of Gaia is still a great item. Like if you want a Stone of Gaia, I never have any qualms with that, just because it's such a good item right now, especially in an out of combat sense, where you're getting to utilize that regen no matter what. Got my shell up still. My blink is coming up. I'm gonna look for a blink onto Scotty. I know that Scotty's beads are now down. I gotta be still careful though. What I want to do is I want to hit him with a blink too, and then throw down my ulti, throw him right back towards my team, pop a shout, and we should be able to put that Scotty down. He got put down immediately. Throwing down my 1 on this AMA, which is going to get the auto attack damage reduction. Plus he got hit by my Pridvin shield. He got slowed down, trying to get in front of Ganesh, trying to body block as much as I can. Now I got to start jumping away. Nice job. I know that Thought is gonna look for it, but he's not quite gonna be able to reach me with the ultimate. We've got all 5 dead. We should probably go attack the fire giant. I've got to back up first. I'm gonna get myself a relic dagger, gonna rank up my sentry ward, and I'm gonna rank up my blink. Now we've got 40% CDR. We had 5 people dead, 22 minutes. Great time for us to knock out that fire giant. I couldn't take it for him. I had to back up, but we shouldn't have any issues securing this from an Arachne. If Arachne gets the fire giant over us, well, you know what? She deserves it. Gonna use these little Arachne spiders, try to help me out, clear this guy. For your matchups on XING TIAN, you must be wary of cripples. Cripples stop you from using your 3, which is all of your movement that you have. So you need to be careful and watch out for that. Another god that tends to do pretty well against XING TIAN is a Wheelix, because while these are kind of itty-bitty leaps, they actually leave you in the air for a decent bit of time. So you need to make sure that you're careful about going against a Wheelix. She can pull you. Now, much like in the Sobek guide, same thing goes here. You have to be careful with how you're utilizing your ultimate as you get into the team fight stages of the game. Earlier in the game, it doesn't matter who you grab, right? Either way, they're going to get blown up and die. At the end of the game, you need to be more careful. Like, I really don't want to throw a Ganesh right into the middle of my team because I could very well get my team killed by doing that. Now, somebody like a Scotty, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to pick her up and throw her right back towards my team because we're going to be able to get a great kill on her. But if I would have like grabbed the Ganesh right there and thrown him into my team, then all I'm doing is throwing a tanky character into my team, putting them in a position to counter initiate with the Ganesh ult, and maybe even getting my squishiest killed in the process. So as with anybody that has Plucks and Smite, the later you get into the game, the more limited your pluck should become, and you should start to focus it more and more on squishy targets or targets that you can kill. At the end of the day, if this Ganesh is building a bunch of damage items, then I don't mind throwing him into my team so we can one-shot burn him, but chances are he's just gonna be tanky, right? So like AMA, not the dream target to throw into my team. Don't need to be throwing a super fast guy that's got a slow and a stun and a giant ulti that's gonna wreck my team, right? That's not helpful. That's basically playing for the other team at that point. So be careful with where you're throwing people. Also, in general, it is usually more helpful to throw people into a wall instead of directly at your teammates, especially if you don't have really good communication. Throwing people into a wall will give your teammate a lot more time to see where they are going to land. I'm going to blink towards the back line. Just kidding. I'm going to get put in combat by a thought. I'm going to reset back out, and then I'm going to look for a blink into the back line. I'm not going to ulti immediately. I want to try to force Scotty beads. So I'm going to blink in, hit him with the combo. No beads coming out yet. I'm just tanking the Phoenix from my team. This is fine. I'm going to dash in towards the AMA now because her stuff. There you go. I can force the AMA with my ulti. Her dash was down, and we got to be a little bit careful here. We've got all 5 of us. We can probably get in towards this Titan. Hit him with a little knockup. Shells coming out just to keep me alive while I'm tanking this Titan. And I'm going to jump myself right on away as we wrap it up. So because we had a bunch of CDR, our ultimate was coming up way faster than people's beads were coming up. That is what you're looking for on Oleron. So you can get the big team fight plays going on, all the meanwhile never taking your eyes off of your squishies. For me that game, I was focusing most on Scylla. The reason why I was focusing so much on Scylla and not like the Neath is because Scylla has that immediate burst pow follow-up that a Neath doesn't quite have. And even if Scylla doesn't have her ulti up, she's still gonna have the 2-1 up, which should be enough to basically put people down. Moving into the later stages of that build, we would have had a lot of options on the table. We could have gone something a little bit more aggressive like a Void Stone. A Void Stone not only would give me a little bit of magical defense and damage that game, but it also would give around the aura protection, the aura penetration in order to help our Scylla do more damage. We were pairing up with the Scylla with the combos, giving our Scylla a little bit more penetration could help out a lot, especially for the ulti reset. We've always got a Mantley Discord as we get later into the game and sell our boot is a good item. You can consider going into percentage mitigation. So even with only really 2 defensive items, I already had 180 physical protections and 150 magical. I don't like going a ton above 200 because of the way that penetration works right now, which means the items that give a bunch of HP, something like a Stone of Gaia could be a very good pickup if you're starting to get near that marker. Any more than 200 protections and that percent pen that people are buying with things like the Atalanta's bow are going to start to affect you way too much. And so you want to make sure you have a combination of percent mitigations if you're going to grab something like a Spirit Robe or an Oni Hunter's Garb, HP, and protections. You want to make sure you're mix and matching all 3 in order to get maximum tankiness. Otherwise, if you just do 1, you're going to get countered by a Kins for HP, or you're going to get countered by percent penetration for your protections. So make sure you're mixing and matching all of them so that way no one item is going to completely counter you guys. And that is our XING TIAN support guide. And we'll be right